Hello everyone, AW here, Aaron World Order, bringing you another stream about wrestling. And this time in wrestling, we're going to talk about the good old times of wrestling. The best times of wrestling. I would say, the peak of wrestling. The peak of wrestling. And the peak of wrestling will take place in the mid-90s to early 2000s, I would say. As my title would say, we're going to talk about the Monday Night Wars between WCW and WWE. And I'm going to tell you which side I was on. And I'm going to ask, whose side were you on? What were you a bigger fan of? I'm going to also ask favorite superstars, favorite factions, music, video games, matches from those era. And if anybody wants to join me on stream, I'll post a link. Post a link in the comments here, so just give me a few minutes. And voila, there we go. So if you'd like to join, it's in the stream on the side. And yeah, so we're going to get on with the topic. If anybody wants to join me, feel free to join me. So, first we're going to have a little fun. Little fun first. A little fun. So, here we go. Before we really dive down deep into it, if you're interested in wrestling, AEW is in about an hour, AEW Dynamite, but so I have time for now. Let's see. So, here we go.
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah! Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
And here's another thing.
And if you're not down with that, then we've just got two words for you. Suck it.
Shouldn't be. Okay. I'm just gonna check one thing, and then we'll dive deep down right into it, okay? Okay. All right. Okay. We're gonna keep it there. Okay, I got it. Now, so let me check why.
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
Steve Austin, very instrumental part of the rise of the Monday Night Wars.
And if you're not down with that, then we've just got two words for you. Suck it.
And with that, let's begin. So, 90s. Two companies, major wrestling companies, WCW led by Ted Turner and I'm very sorry for that, guys. Very sorry. Where was I? Okay. So where was I? Oh yeah, getting to the beginning of Monday Night Wars. So WCW led by Ted Turner, and WWE or WWF at the time led by Vince McMahon. Okay, so let's get into it. WWE was top for most of the 90s, right? WWE was mostly on top. There's no denying that. There's no question about it. But since the early 90s, late 80s, when WWE wrestling really took off, especially with WWF, it has not been, well, popular. Their storytelling isn't been good. They got these corny, campy characters, and so on. WCW, on the other hand, was a smaller company. They had some stars like Sting, Ric Flair, etc., but they weren't getting anywhere taxing into more of the level where WWE is around the states and around the world. Around the world. So what happens is WWF has superstars like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Razor Ramon, Undertaker, Yokozuna, Owen Hart, British Bulldog, Guys like that trying to carry the in the WWE during the mid '90s, but nobody was there to. Not one of those superstars was there to like get to the height of the early '90s and late '80s where Hogan was champion. Old Warrior, guys like that. WCW, yeah, they had Vader, Sting, I don't know, like Ric Flair, but it was nowhere near close to where WWE is. But WWE was struggling at the time, right? Well, here's the thing: WWE wanted to focus on a little bit younger talent like Shawn Michaels, Nizo, and Razor Ramon, Bret Hart, guys like that, Undertaker, Yokozuna. But WCW, when they had Bischoff, they decided to make him executive producer, make him run the show. But he couldn't get to he couldn't make WCW where he wanted to go unless he had money, unless he had to change the format of the WCW. WCW was perceived as a southern company. That wouldn't work against WWE. If WWE is the northern company, WCW would be the southern company, if you know what. Okay? But that won't work if they want to get if WCW wants to compete with WWE in the 90s. So what happens is you got guys leaving WWE. Hogan left WWE in 93 to go acting. Savage left in 94. Macho Man Randy Savage. Bobby Green Heenan. And both Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan ended up in WCW in 1994, where Hogan was convinced by Bischoff at Disney Studios, MGM Studios, to join WCW. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. Right? And Savage was there. Hogan, his first match ever was against Ric Flair, the match that people thought we were going to see at WrestleMania. Which WrestleMania was it? 8. That was in 92. But that didn't happen. But it turns out in the WCW, we had Hogan and Flair. Hogan's first match was the world title against Flair, which he won. Won from Flair. I'm just reading something funny. Right? Sorry, I was just reading something funny. Okay, so he became champion. But Hogan really didn't take Hogan there helped WCW, Savage helped, and then what Bischoff needed, so WWE had Raw on Monday nights, 93, right? No competition from WCW at the time. Well, what Bischoff needed from Ted Turner was, if he wanted to compete with WWE, he needed a show on Monday night to compete with Monday Night Raw. And he suggested Nitro. He went to Ted, and Ted Turner was like, find me a 2-hour slot on TNT for Nitro. For WCW's Monday Night Show to compete with Monday Night Raw. And on September 4th, 1995, Monday Night Nitro was debuted with the returning Lex Luger to WCW. And remember, Lex Luger was in WWE for a while. Remember, they tried to push him like the next big star to make him the next Hogan. That didn't work. It didn't. If you remember that, that didn't work. And then what happened was that was Nitro that could be Raw. It was Monday Night Raw, and Raw was struggling at the time. Like WWE was They were struggling. Vince is struggling with money. He could have gone out of business. See, what happens is WCW was on the rise then, but it still had terrible storylines when Nitro was formed. That's until 1996, where NWO was formed. Now, the story of NWO. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, WWE, were both known as Razor Ramon and Diesel, right? And Diesel. So, unfortunately, Vince couldn't. They were free agents in '96. Vince couldn't pay them. Couldn't pay them what they wanted. If he could, they publicly said if Vince could have matched some money that WCW was willing to offer them, they would have stayed in WWE. They said that. They did say that. So first, before that happens, they signed with WCW. First on a Nitro in May, Scott Hall comes out of the crowd, right? Comes out of the crowd. Basically says, "You want a war, big man? You want a war? You got one." The next week, Kevin Nash shows up, and then they were teasing there was a third guy. There's a third guy. There's a third guy. So at Bash at the Beach in '96, we had the team of WCW. Lex Luger, Macho Man Randy Savage, and Sting. Not the Crow like Sting, the Surfer like Sting. Come up. Face Kevin Nash and Scott Hall with a mystery partner. Unfortunately, that mystery partner didn't show up. Lex Luger was taken out of the match earlier. Looks like Nash and Hall were having the upper hand on Sting and Savage. Savage was down after getting a low blow by Nash. Now all of a sudden, Hogan shows up. Hogan walking down. Bobby Brain has one of the best lines I heard in wrestling. Whose side is he on? Foreshadowing. Wait, Hogan, the good guy, the red and yellow, the guy who never turns his back on his fans. But he turned heel. After being away for a few months filming, he turned heel and leg dropped his friend Savage, and the Genesis of NWO's form. And after that, he cut a promo of Mean Gene, berating the fans. These fans say, "Stick it, brother!" And then that's when NWO's form, New World Order. And I'll show you a brief picture of the New World Order. Now, I'll tell you all the letters. I'll tell you. Okay, so there's Nash on the left, Scott Hall in the middle, and Hollywood Hogan in the front, in the right. But you see, there's Dennis Rodman. I'll tell you about that. And there's Savage, the 6 for X-Pac or 1-2-3 Kid, whatever you wanna remember him by. Okay. So NWO's formed, and man, they ran buckshot over WCW. If you were a WCW guy, you're gonna get beat up. That's what they did. They beat up their WCW. Man, it's like the thing was NWO versus WCW. Like NWO is taking over WCW, basically. That's why they call it the New World Order. Hogan, not named Hulk Hogan, became Hollywood Hogan. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, outsiders. And then as the months went on, they had new members like the Giant, Paul Wright, Six, Vincent. Who else? Buff Bagwell, Conan, Savage would join. They had a fake Sting. We'll get to that. Who else is there? Later in the 90s, they had Rick Rude, Dusty Rhodes at one point, Brian Adams, Stevie Way, Scott Steiner. They had a lot of members. They even had an NWO Japan at one point. And this is where it really start. This is where the Monday Night Wars really started to pick up. In '96, WWE had some great talent. Though they had some good talent. They took from WCW. Stone Cold was involved in '96. Stone Cold Steve Austin was in '96 in WWE. Mick Foley as Mankind. Triple H was getting started. They had some talent they took from WCW and they made it. And that infamous King of the Ring promo by Stone Cold launched his career. Now it's '96 the King of the Ring. Mankind was, by the way, once Mick Foley, once he came to WWE, he came from WCW, went to ECW, and then went to WWE. He was involved, right away in WWE, he was involved with Undertaker. And when you get involved with Undertaker, that's huge. Because The Undertaker is one of the top stars and one of the most respected stars. The character of Mark Calloway. The character of Undertaker is respected, and Mark Calloway, the person who is The Undertaker, the guy behind The Undertaker, one of the most respected superstars, respected people in the business. He was a locker room leader. And Mick Foley got to shoot with him, right? We'll get to that a little bit later. And Mick Foley got to... We'll show you some pictures of that. Okay. 96 was a turning point for WWE and WCW. Unfortunately, WCW was still winning in the wars, but I felt it got better. Alright? What happens in '97, where WCW really took off, was the New World Order. They were beating up everybody. It looks like nobody was able to stop them. Nobody was able to stop the New World Order until this man. This man. This man. The icon. Sting. Looks like they had a hero. WCW had an Avenger, an anti-hero, I guess not an angel. I guess an angel. Sting. And this is it. This happens at Starrcade '97. But this was a year-long storyline between Sting and NWO, specifically Hulk Hogan. What happens is Hulk Hogan NWO did him wrong because they had a fake Sting making the wrestlers, WCW, and the fans think Sting aligned herself with the NWO, but it was a fake Sting. But the real Sting felt hurt and betrayed, so he left for a while. He was actually hurt though. He was actually hurt, but he did make appearances here and there. He was able to do some limited stuff like the Scorpion Death Drop, hit people with the bat, until he was ready for Starrcade, and that was a long year storyline, and it was one of the best storylines of wrestling. No question about it. Unfortunately, the Starrcade match was not very good. Sting won the title, but it was not like the story going into Starrcade was great. Just the final chapter of that story was not great. Starrcade, it was not a good match, and unfortunately, it was in '97, and Bret Hart was Bret Hart right here. Where's Bret? Bret, right? WCW Bret. No. Was in WCW at the time. But what happens is, we'll get to Bret, right? So at this time, this is '97. And this is when DDP rose to become a main eventer. Goldberg was on the rise with the streak. We had some great cruiserweight matches. You had a great... Oh, okay. Master of None. Oh, very nice. Hey, hello.
Hey, buddy. What's up?
Oh, I'm just talking. I'm just talking WCW right now. Talking about the rise of '97 years.
Hang on a sec. I'm hearing
stuff, DDP.
I'm hearing doubles. Hang on. Let me jump out for a bit.
Okay. What else is there? Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio had an incredible Halloween Havoc match. What else happened in '97 to WCW? Oh, there we go.
My bad, man. Sorry about that.
Okay, better now?
Yeah, I didn't mute the stream on Twitter. That's why.
Okay.
Rookie mistake.
We all make that.
All right.
Where was I? I was talking about the rise of WCW, especially '97 with the NWO and Sting storyline. We got like the rise of DDP. That year, what made DDP an incredible feud he had with Savage when he rejected NWO's offer. That was one of the best segments in WCW history when he pretended to join NWO, but he diamond cut Scott Hall. It was a great segment. Unfortunately, the Sting stuff, it was great. It was a great long year storyline, but the Starrcade match was not very good.
Yeah.
What else is there? Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio had a great match at Halloween Havoc.
Oh, that was back when they had like the cruiserweight action in WCW.
In your mind?
Well, as far as WCW goes, at the time I didn't do much watching. I was more of a WWE guy, or F at the time. I mostly from what I remember, on the WCW side is after the screw job and Hart coming over and eventually what NWO 2000 stuff like that. And not only that, but one of the things I can admit is I'm a huge I'm a Vince Russo mark. I think Vince Russo, while misunderstood at times, is probably one of the best quote unquote writers for wrestling at its time. I know he was basically to blame for WCW falling and stuff, but I think it's more than just that. I think Hulk Hogan had a lot to do with it. I think Eric Bischoff had a lot to do with it. Kevin Sullivan, Kevin Nash, Hall, they all booked themselves basically. They booked themselves over.
Yeah.
So
that's their problem with WCW. When the NWO, they were like beating up everybody. Like you couldn't get over. They only let certain guys get over. Like look, DDP got over, but he was friends with Nash and Hall. Goldberg, they just had to get over because he was getting major fan reaction. And when they tried to get the other guys over, like they got in '99, they tried to get Rey Mysterio into the main against the bigger heavyweights, guys like that. It was too late. That's like late '98 and '99. That's when the downfall of WCW started. Mm-hmm. And Russo just came in him to try to save it, try to make it more like WWE. It wasn't working. It doesn't work in WCW because Attitude Era in WWF, you can get away with more stuff. Where in WCW, you can't because it's on TNT.
Oh yeah. They had standards and practices, and they actually did a bit about that where it was like, they had the one guy come in and Cyrus or whatever come in and be like, hey, but I know ECW did the same thing. And if you're gonna do Monday Night Wars, you gotta have a little tiny segment for ECW, you know what I mean? Especially since it was kind of like the feeder organization for the two. Like, they'd get good in ECW, and then WCW would come a calling, or WWE would come a calling. So
yes, I mean WWE took what ECW did. WWE took from them that to there, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
They took a lot of their talent too. Like Mick Foley was in ECW. Steve Austin was in ECW, but all he did was promos. But they basically took him from ECW. Mm-hmm. That's after WCW.
Well, and they were all cast-offs from WCW. Yeah. So like the Austin documentary is really interesting, where it talks about how, he got fired over the phone and then was pissed off and went over to ECW and just started talking mad shit on.
It's the best move he's ever made, because if he stuck at WCW, he would never been to the level.
He would have got squashed, especially since the NWO thing was just right around the corner. And I think the problem with the NWO was they just let everybody in. Like it started becoming
like 50 people at one point.
Yeah, and then it was like all factioned off. Like
because You know why? You know why? It's either get beat up or join. And so everybody, because all they did, nobody got like the upper hand until Sting came along, right? And that took like a half a year for Sting to come along. So all they did was basically get beat up or join. They choose to join them.
Yeah.
Basically.
No, it makes sense. I mean, especially when you're in that company, it's like that's the group to be in, you know.
And the NWO's they ran their course longer than they should have. They should have.
Mm-hmm.
And then in '99 they had to like bring the Wolfpack and NWO as one big group again. It was one of the worst decisions ever.
Well, and then you had the LWO, you know, the Latino Warlord,
Yeah.
and then just all sorts of different stuff, and it was just like, oh, come on, man, like. It's all right. But like I said, at that time, I was firmly watching WWE, like The Rock and, Triple H.
98 is when WWE really started to have the ratings coming back in their favors because they got Mike Tyson. Once they got Mike Tyson and how hot Steve Austin was turning.
WrestleMania 18?
No, 15.
15. Yeah, no, I mean, that was it right there. That was the catalyst. And after that, it was because I was hot off the ear biting incident. With Tyson. Yeah. So like,
and I also think the Bret Hart getting screwed thing also had to play an effect of the popularity because
Mr. McMahon became a character.
Yeah, that's the birth of the character of Mr. McMahon right there, right? Mm-hmm. And in '98 it was like after Tyson and Shawn Michaels stuff, it's like. Vince versus Austin. Yes, Vince wouldn't wrestle as much, but yeah, other guys wrestle from like Dude Love, stuff like that. But it was basically Vince versus Austin, like a boss, your boss versus Rebel, right?
Yeah.
And everybody, we had all bosses you want to beat the crap out of. Like,
oh, of course. I mean, that was like the best part about it. It was like, yes, way to stick it to the man, and they did it every night on TV. So that was great. Like the Austin McMahon feud was quite honestly one of the best parts of wrestling. Unfortunately, it just tries to get recreated too much today with like the Authority and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of like I watched it a little bit during the Authority era, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't take this anymore. Like
Orton and stuff like that.
Well, not only that, but they did Sting wrong. Like
Sting,
they did him dirty, man. So I was like, oh man, never mind. I'm good. And that was like what 2014.
I'm not surprised. WWE tends to do it to WCW guys. They tend to screw them over.
Yeah,
especially WWF guys first.
Oh yeah, I remember the invasion angle. Like, that was when I was watching hardcore every twice a week.
See what they did at DDP in invasion angle?
Oh man. Oh, Positively Page or the stalker.
Both. Yeah, both. Oh my god!
Oh,
because they didn't.
Yeah, the Mean Street Posse was the shit, man.
Yeah, so like the Austin, Tyson, and Shawn Michaels and the Vince McMahon stuff, and also what happens to WWE is they got the rise of The Rock. Thank God he joined the Nation because he was dead if Lucky Somebody V as that white meat baby face. Nobody liked him.
Yeah.
Nobody liked him. Thank God he was so damn creative because his promos is what got him over. He could wrestle. Don't get me wrong. He was a good wrestler in the ring too.
He was a good wrestler, but no, his charisma is what made The Rock.
Yeah. So when he joined Nation, that was the best thing. Farouk was the best thing for The Rock because you remember that one promo when he said, "You fans chant die, Rocky die. That's what I get for performing for your pieces of crap," something like that. That was a great promo.
Oh, good heel Rock right there. Like, that was his best on the heel run. And then once he started clashing with Austin, it was where it just took it to a whole nother level. Like The Rock Austin was the main event for the next two main events for WrestleMania
15. It was WrestleMania 15. It was the main event. WrestleMania 17 was the main event. They had another one at 19, but wasn't the main event. That was Austin's last match.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when The Rock had to turn face. Remember, he was the corporate champion, but the fans started to cheer him, so they had no choice to turn a babyface.
Yeah, he was the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment.
Even as a babyface, he still acted like a heel by his promos.
No, that's true, and not only that, but like heels were getting over as baby faces at that time, and that's where like the lines were starting to blur. And now it's kind of more back to good guy, bad guy. It's like even though they say it's like it's not good guy, bad guy anymore, we're different here at WWE now. It's like kind of.
And right. I love DX too. I mean, like I love the DX when Shawn Michaels. Oh my God, I don't know how they got away with that so much stuff with the Shawn Michaels Triple H beginning of DX. Oh, I don't know how they got away with so much stuff. They have like what sausage. They had like a sausage barbecue in the ring or something. He put the Canadian flag in his nose. Like if you do that these days, the stuff DX did. I don't think Vince McMahon didn't like it. I know he said he didn't like it, but it was getting them attention and ratings. It was getting them,
well, and that's the thing. It's like I never really liked Shawn Michaels until later on. Hollywood Rock, yeah,
Hollywood Rock, yeah, that was good. Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. Bailey does. Yeah, Hollywood Rock was that was after the Attitude Era, but that was a good Rock too for like a few months because he was kind of like Hogan, like Hogan became heel, Hollywood Hogan, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was more like that was like Ruthless Aggression era type,
Yeah, that was Ruthless Aggression. That's it's because he had a match with Brock Lesnar in 2002 when he lost the title, but everybody knew he was leaving, so the fans turned on them when they were leaving. Do you remember the Brock Lesnar and Goldberg match at WrestleMania? No, everybody was booing both of them because
they were chanting boring.
It was because everybody knew they were leaving.
Yeah,
that's what happened to The Rock. But you know what? Rock is easy. The Rock could get you hooked on it like that. Him and Austin, and then you got DX who could do the exact same thing. I think what I like about Attitude Era was like Undertaker, how he evolved over the years because it was just a zombie-like.
Well, it was like the ministry and the corporate ministry, and then after that, it was the biker Undertaker, the American Badass.
That character. If you would have thought that character in the early '90s would have survived that long, I wouldn't believe you, because he evolved over
another
years.
20 years. Like
yeah, exactly. Like you can't do a character like that. They tried. You can't do a character lasting like 10 to 20 years with a character like that now.
Well, no, if in all honesty though, I will say Biker Undertaker was totally different. Yeah. I mean, the moves were the same, but the gimmick was totally
You know
different.
why? He said in an interview he needed to change with the times.
Oh no, and I don't get me wrong. Yeah. I mean, he made Roland from Limp Bizkit cool. Like
he was a badass.
or that damn Kid Rock song, American Badass.
Yeah. And then you had Kane, Kane. I mean, that was one of the best storylines, Undertaker and Kane.
Oh yeah, dude, with Paul Bearer, like. I mean, Percy Pringle. You can't go wrong with that. Well.
Yeah, Percy Pringle. Yeah, like he's alive, Undertaker. Your brother's alive. And that debut at Bad Blood when he just ripped off the cage. Oh my.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I've always liked Kane, Glenn Jacobs, man. Like he's good. He's good.
You wouldn't think that's like the first time you saw Undertaker legitimately afraid. Like in the ring, and like you wouldn't think this guy gets afraid, but when you saw his brother Kane stand toe to toe with him in the ring, that's like the first time you saw him be afraid of someone,
Yeah,
that was great. And
it was like it's not fake Diesel.
No. Oh, do you remember to try to pass it off?
Yeah, he was fake. Glenn Jacobs was fake Diesel. He was Isaac Yankem.
Did you hear what Scott Hall and Kevin Nash said about that? They actually got a pay raises, a new contract with WCW because they thought they were going back to WWE. Because right?
What?
Because
isn't he like a mayor now or something like that?
Glenn Jacobs is the mayor of Knoxville. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, he was also Isaac Yankem.
Yeah, he was the King's dentist.
Oh yeah, when Kane took off his mask.
Oh, dude, that was crazy. Or when he first talked, he had the voice box. I was like,
I remember. Suck it. Remember he was like a DX for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Suck
oh man.
It.
Well, I mean, I everything said, like at the time. Let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, I guess if you want to call him that. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. What are your thoughts on him? Like,
okay, my thoughts on him, he's always good in the ring. He's very good in the ring. He's always a technician in the ring because he studies a lot of wrestling, so he's always good in the ring. I did not see him becoming champion, but because I thought he looked like he got bigger as times went on when he went champion. I assume he did voice or something because a lot of people I talked to like back then when I was like young at the time, right? Maybe early teenage years. I'm like, wait, this guy get voice or something? But I knew he's big into bodybuilding.
Roids and bodybuilding go
The,
together.
the thing is, I forget who
Ham
said
and
it.
eggs.
Hunter's the guy that always wants to work with the main eventer, but is not the main eventer. You know?
Yeah, no, and he seems like a good setup guy. But the problem is I think if he hadn't have married Stephanie,
Yeah.
like I think things would have been different.
I mean, I think when he dated China and what happened to that relationship,
Oh,
ruined
absolutely,
China's,
it shattered her. Like
yeah.
it's why Vince Russo wants not allowed back with the WWE. Because the interview that she did with him, where she's like, she basically accused Hunter of abuse. Like, so I'm like, ouch. Yeah, that's not good. So like, so I don't know. As far as Triple H goes, I didn't necessarily like him that much. Like, I liked him a little bit during the Attitude Era. I dug it when he had the Motorhead theme, when he first got it. But
Yeah.
after that, I mean, for DX, for me, I like the New Age Outlaws. It was more for me. It was Billy Gunn, X-Pac, and Road Dogg. Like, I love the New Age Outlaws. Like,
Oh yeah.
and then it was Mr. Ass.
Oh, The Rock destroyed Billy Gunn in a promo. Did you remember that promo? Like, when he was like, he's in that small feud with him. That promo about Billy Gunn. I mean, The Rock would destroy. You can't compete with The Rock in his prime. There was nobody could compete with him promos. You know, like in his prime.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He would bury you.
Like the only guy who could come close to possibly burying The Rock in promos is probably John Cena.
True.
I mean, because he was so damn creative. He was so damn creative. He just anything comes to his mind he could say. But lately, I think in the past he's been caught like on this arm. Like he has somebody that said it on his arm, written on his arm what to say. Because Cena even mentioned that. But I think, what did you think of Mankind? Like Mick Foley. I mean, that guy's nuts. He's intelligent. He's so intelligent.
Loved him. He's one of my favorites. To be perfectly honest, Mick Foley, Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, all the iterations. The interview he did with JR, where all three personalities came out, and he walked down as Dude Love, like
Steve-O!
and the Rock and Sock connection, like. The man fell off. He got tossed off the top of a cage, man. He took a New Jack bump. Like, ouch.
He got choke slammed through the cage too. Like.
Yeah. His tooth went up and through out his nose.
And the thing is, he had interfered in the match after too. And he actually went down to that match and he match after, like, because that was the plan, right? It was the plan for him to interfere in the match after, and he actually did it.
Yeah, no, dude, Mick Foley was insane, dude. But he gave his body for the sport, as it were. So.
Oh yeah, like there's some guys who don't like that wrestling. Like Ric Flair didn't like that kind of stuff. Like Kevin Nash is not into that stuff, but he respected Mick Foley because he knew Mick Foley wanted to put on a show for the fans, right? He's like, I know he said that. I think Ric Flair came to appreciate Mick Foley because he's good. Look, Mankind, Mick Foley is not the best wrestler in the ring.
No, but he can cut a good promo. He could talk. He can draw.
He could tell a story in the ring. He doesn't have to be the best wrestler, right? He can tell a story.
And what he does gets people talking. Mm-hmm. Like, even when it was back in the day when he would peel back the mat and do his elbow drop out to the side of the side of the floor. You know what I mean? So it's like, even then he was trying to do things that were above and beyond.
I see YouTube videos where they show wrestling matches to fans that never watched wrestling. One of the first matches they ever show those fans is the Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Mick Foley. It's one of the first matches.
It's one of the most epic matches in history, and it's messed up because they've tried to recreate it, and it's never had the same oomph. I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. Shane McMahon is insane. Insane. I think it was almost at the end of the Attitude Era with the King of the Ring, where Kurt Angle was trying to, suplex him through the glass, and the glass didn't break.
Yes.
And he did it twice, 4 times. So like he did it once, didn't break, twice broke it through, and then he did it the same time on another piece of glass. Like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
And then what Undertaker threw him off the cage, right? Like he a couple years back, right?
No, he didn't throw him off. What happened was Undertaker was on the announce table. This is at WrestleMania in 2016. Undertaker was knocked down the announce table. Shane McMahon actually climbed up the top of the cell to do the elbow drop. He jumped off the top of the cell to do the elbow drop. Undertaker moved and he went through the table, and that pretty much was done for.
Ouch. Yeah, no, they had like cart him out there, right? Like on a gurney.
Yeah, but now what they do now, there's padding now on those announce tables with those spots now, so it's not as bad as it once was, because there's padding underneath to break the fall a bit. Because that's what they do now with tables. Especially with the wooden tables, if they're meant to break, they're
they're gimmicked.
Yeah, they're gimmick tables. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was thinking of some of the other highlights of that era. I remember the countdown for Jericho, and I remember his when he came out to The Rock. He's like, "It doesn't matter what your name is." I was like, "Oh man!" And then Jericho looked like a punk.
Yeah, like that was perfect. That was perfect. Yes, The Rock. Like,
oh, not only that, but when he was in WCW and his list of 1,001 holds,
he was great in WCW. He should have got pushed higher than they actually, like the Goldberg stuff. They should let him have that with Goldberg, but like Goldberg didn't want anything to do with him. Like,
yeah,
but they
Gilberg.
Yeah, I mean, like Jericho was great. Like Jericho was great in WCW. They should have let him at least like have some matches, some main event guys, because he was one of the best. I'm definitely on the mic and in the ring with the 1,004 holds. And you remember Rufus?
Oh yeah, it became Ralphus.
Yeah, Ralphus, yeah. And he always used to do the Goldberg's gimmick. We know Goldberg's accompanied by security guards, and then backstage he get lost. You remember the one he got locked out of the arena?
Yeah.
You know that? Yeah. You know that door wasn't supposed to be locked, right? It was supposed to be not locked.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, they let Jericho do his own thing for a bit, but Bischoff would never let him go to the next level. That's the problem with WCW. They never let the guys go to the next level unless the guys at the top really, really like you.
Yeah, well, and that was the guys at the top staying on top, even though they weren't good.
If you're big in WWF at one point, you're probably more gonna be success. You're probably gonna be more successful, or if they really like you in WCW, like DDP for example. Like DDP worked 35 years old. He worked hard, but he was friends with Nash and Hall.
Well, he had history with both of them. He was their manager, the Diamond Stud. Like Vinny Vegas was part of the stable, and I think Hall was the Diamond Stud.
Yeah. And like Goldberg was Goldberg, they had no choice to like push to the moon.
Well, he fit the part, man. Unfortunately, he couldn't wrestle. So
no,
that was the bad part.
He's like Ultimate Warrior. He was like Ultimate Warrior. Like Ultimate Warrior is so overrated. He had a character, but the guy couldn't wrestle for dear life. Ultimate Warrior.
No. Well, he'd gas himself by the time he got to the ring.
Same with Goldberg. These days, Goldberg would do the exact same thing. Well, he's at 50 years. He's like over 50 years old. So like,
well, that's understandable, like, and I don't see why he still wrestles. To be perfectly honest, it's like, dude, you've done what you can. Like, you don't need to come back and prove anything.
Look, Sting is older. Sting is older and still wrestles better than him
well, he could only go. He could only go for a few minutes. I mean, like, didn't William Regal get fired from WCW because he couldn't have a match with him?
Yeah. See, with Goldberg, he took liberties with Goldberg or something. They got like it became a shoot match or something like that. Yes, he got fired. Yeah, because and then he saw the limitations. This guy is not ready to be in the ring.
Yeah, and he basically said that, and I'm just like, well, I mean, I get it. Oh, Sting's wrestling tonight.
Yeah, it's an AEW. Oh,
Wow.
That's in 10 minutes though. Yeah, Dynamite of TNT.
Oh, he could really hurt himself, dude. He's got to be careful.
It's a tag team match, so
either way, protect that neck, brother.
Well, yeah. That was That was bad with Seth Rollins. I
The
remember
buckle
that.
bomb. 2 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
almost
man.
as bad as the Goldberg kick to Bret Hart that ended his career.
There's a lot of guys Goldberg probably injured that haven't said that Goldberg injured them.
Well, I mean, it's just I don't see he was too green, and then not only that, but they shot themselves in the foot. What was it? He won the championship, and then a week later they cattle prodded his ass. So like,
Oh yeah, Starcade.
yeah,
With,
yeah, freaking Hall hit him with a cattle prod, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then the
his
next
streak.
week it was the finger poke of doom.
Oh my god.
Where Hogan or Hall or Nash just laid down for Hogan.
You mean at the NWO? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the two factions who were enemies, right? They split up, right? Nash split up, formed his own faction, and that night they were in cahoots to join the reform. I guess what happened was the NWO Wolfpack became the NWO Elite, and then the Black and White were like the B team.
Oh God.
You remember
See,
that?
yeah, that's why it gets all weird. And then what was it, David Arquette? Yeah,
That was one of the worst things ever. Even Arquette admitted he should never won the title.
No, I get it, and the fact that David Arquette went back and wrestled. That I respect the hell out of that. I think that's cool as hell. Honestly, I don't know. I liked Ready to Rumble, so
Yes, he did get electrocuted. The cattle pod electrocuted him.
Yep, and Nash won. Yeah. And then literally the next day on Nitro, Hogan pokes him in the chest. He flops down, and then 1, 2, 3.
Is this the time when Hogan left WCW, even though he's technically still in WCW? They won for presidency or something?
Yeah, he was like running for office or something like that. And then it was because somebody was running for office somewhere. I think it was Jerry Lawler or something like that. I'm not sure. But
He was running, I think Lawler was running for mayor, wasn't he?
Mayor of Memphis.
Yeah, and that's the beginning. That's one of the. A lot of people point the finger, pointing to Doom as the beginning of the downfall of WCW.
Mm-hmm.
I think the downfall was a little bit before, but that certainly did not.
It was definitely a nail, you know. Oh yeah, and then there was the time that they said that Mick won the belt. And they're like, it was like everybody stopped watching Nitro that night and flipped it over to fucking.
Biggest mistake WCW has ever done was do that. You don't do that, like.
Yeah, no, I get it. You want to upshow the competition, but your opinion of Mick Foley and everyone else's opinion of Mick Foley are two different things.
When you say somebody wins the championship on the other show, of course people are going to turn into that show. They want to see it.
Yeah. Well, especially since it's a title change on Raw, even then that was kind of rare, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's very rare, and that was one of them. And we got like WCW. The thing is, there's always the same guys getting pushed. Like,
they had and then after that it was the Chosen One, Double J. So like,
yeah, like nobody bought in him as a champion, right? Like
no, ever.
No, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. As far as wrestling goes, Jeff Jarrett deserves his accolades.
Yeah.
But as far as what was it? Somebody said it. He bashed million guitars and never sold $1.
I think it was Cornette, was it?
No, it was damn it! It was the son of a promoter, Florida. God damn it!
Oh.
Worked with Dusty Rhodes back in the day. Graham, his son.
Mike Graham?
Mike Graham, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He said it. He's like, he busted 1,000 guitars and never drew one damn cent. I was like, oh man.
I would just remember him in his early days of WWE when he was like the country singer Double J, and he got
Double
caught
J, yeah.
lip singing was Road Dogg.
It was Rhodey.
Yeah, Rhodey. Yeah, I remember that. Do you remember the worst character? Remember that creepy character that Goldust portrayed in WCW? Seven. Remember? You know what? They took him off, right?
Oh, because it was creepy.
Yeah. Like really, really creepy.
Well, it was like staring in through a kid's window.
Yeah. I don't know how they got past TNT standards because WWE, I could have seen that. WWE, I could have seen that because WWE lets goes. You're at the time they let you go far. WCW, no. But
Yeah.
Bischoff a bit like. I know you're a big Russo stuff, but some of the stuff he written, like, and he's trying to save WWE.
Oh well, no. Some of the stuff he did in WCW was not.
Here's
very
the problem.
good.
Here's the problem with him in WCW. Nobody said no.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon in WWE, he came up with the ideas, but Vince McMahon said, "Yes, we'll do it." He had still had the final say. He didn't have that in WCW.
No, the filter.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, Cornette hates Vince Russo with a passion.
Yeah. It's for a multitude of reasons. It's funny because I listen to both of them. Like,
Yeah, me too.
I'll listen to Jim Cornette rip on the modern day product, and I'll listen to.
Oh, AEW. Oh,
He hates AEW, man. It's funny. I like all of his nicknames he has for everybody.
Oh, what's Kenny Omega? Kenny
Olivier.
Olivier.
Kenny Olivier. I think he also calls him Jazz Hands too.
Yeah. Kenny Olivier. I know he likes some guys in ECW and AEW. I know he likes Moxley, right?
Yeah. Oh no, he doesn't like Moxley
Anymore? He doesn't like him.
No, he was going off because he brought in the bank addicted drug robber.
Nick Gage. He doesn't like that
Gage,
stuff.
yeah.
He doesn't like deathmatch wrestling. I
don't like deathmatch wrestling. That's just stupid, man. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, man.
The guy, I was watching that match. The guy can actually do some moves. It's not like, but when I see some new deathmatch wrestling, I'm like, okay, maybe once in a while, but like, don't make it like a habit, because when I hear about it, it's like, can this guy actually wrestle? Stuff like that, like.
Not really. It's
Yeah.
mostly just hit him with bust a glass light bulb tube over their back and gouge their face with the shards. It's like, oh god, no, thank you.
Yeah. Stone Cold John Moxley. No, nobody at ECW's AEW is close to that. I mean, they have characters that act like that, but the times are much different now. Like Steve Austin, you would have that guy. Whereas him, The Rock, and Hogan and Cena are my 4 top superstars that go beyond just wrestling.
Well, they transcend this.
Yeah.
Transcend it. I mean, The Rock, obviously, and
Yeah.
Cena, same thing, obviously.
Hogan earlier in the 90s and 80s when he's been in movies.
Yeah. Be that good, bad, or indifferent. Most of them are bad. Hogan movies aren't that.
He's not a good
No.
actor. Like for
No.
wrestling, he's fine. For wrestling, he's fine. He's just not a good actor.
Yeah, no. What was it? Thunder in Paradise? Oh, Lord have mercy.
But that was typical of the times, right? And, like Schwarzenegger was not the best actor either, but like that's typical.
No, but
Yeah, he was really
was
bad.
it the one? There's a channel on YouTube. It's called Wrestling with Regret, and
Yeah.
he's got some good movie reviews. His movie reviews are fantastic. I want to find when they do indie wrestling here in town. I want to meet him because he actually lives here in Reno.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
but I think he does Ring of Honor stuff now. Brian Zane.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I think he does.
Yeah, he's a manager for them, and I think he does
Excalibur.
commentary too, a little bit of commentary. So,
I hate
Excalibur is excrement. Well, no, and then he had all the pole matches, like the San Francisco 49ers
Viagra.
match, the Viagra on a pole
pole.
match, the Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
You remember when Ready to Rumble the movie when that came out? With,
I love Ready to Rumble, man. Like
Jimmy the King. That was a good movie.
Give me the king, man. It was a metaphor for Ric Flair.
Yeah. Yeah, they had David Arquette, I think Scott Conn, James Conn's son.
Yeah.
The promoter was Joe Pagliano or something like that.
Paglione.
Yeah, he was the Bad Boys boss, right?
Yeah. He was the dude from The Matrix.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. But he had all the wrestlers. Like DDP was like the villain. And Sting was like, I don't know.
Sting.
And that was just to promote that. And they had to put David Arquette the title on just to promote that movie.
Well, anytime you can get Disco Inferno, Billy Kidman. I like Disco Inferno. He's not bad.
I mean, he joined the Wolfpack. Remember, he joined NWO.
True. No, actually, afterwards, he's actually really insightful. Glenn Gilberti. He does. He goes on with Vince Russo.
Yeah,
and talks.
he's on Vince Russo's. I forgot what it's called.
The brand.
The brand. Yeah, he has Stevie Richards on that too. He has Engineer Love, Velvet Sky. He also has other people.
Mm-hmm. I remember when he first got started. I was listening to it from like the get go with just him and Jeff Lane, like way back in the day.
Yeah,
it's kind of what got me into doing like back into YouTube actually, because I lived in an area where internet wasn't very accessible, so like, it was good.
I could tell you one thing. When I watched AEW Rampage, I loved the show last week. I don't know if you watched. I cannot stand a 4-man commentary booth.
I have to give it a shot. I haven't consistently watched wrestling in years. Like it's been a long time.
Oh yeah, Conan. Yeah, I'm just saying like the commentary booth on AEW Rampage was on Mark Henry, Chris Jericho, Taz, and Excalibur. Jericho was like annoying as hell, talking over everyone. I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand him on commentary. Like
I was listening to Jim Cornette's opinion on that, and he's like, "Yeah, he couldn't stand it either."
Do these wrestlers? Do they train these wrestlers? Or do analysis like how they do with former athletes in sports? You know, for their respective sport, they should train them with that because you know they train them with and they definitely do train them. Or they send in a demo reel with or to wherever this news station to be the sports analysis for when they call a game, right? I don't think they do that with wrestling. They just put in a commentary booth.
Yeah. Sounds about right. I mean, think about it. A lot of former football players go on to do broadcasting.
Yeah. I've never seen a 4-man commentary booth in sports ever. Like, what has it been done that works?
Yeah.
Like 3-man booth is hard.
Yeah, it was hard it was difficult when they did it on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Having a comedian with them, you know. Dennis Miller was all right on Monday Night Football. I'm not gonna lie. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Dennis Miller. Like,
yeah.
Actually, no, it was Dan Fouts. It wasn't John Madden yet. He was still on Fox.
Oh yeah.
Jericho said,
"What?"
And then there's he who must not be named.
Oh my God, no!
The Canadian Crippler.
He became champion in WCW, then just left for WWE like the week after.
Well, yeah, wasn't it like the new 4 Horsemen or whatever with him, Malenko, Guerrero, and
What? Oh no, you mean the Radicals?
Oh, okay, yeah.
He wasn't a Horseman. He wasn't a Horseman in WCW, but WWF, he was the Radicals with those guys. Malenko, Saturn, Guerrero, and yeah, him.
Oh, Saturn. I forgot Saturn.
Yeah.
Good old Perry Saturn. Oh, Raven was cool. I liked Raven.
Yeah. Like, what about? Did you like those skits where he's always been known to be depressed, right? Right. But you see those skits with Canyon where he has a witch family. He's like, what am I supposed to be depressed about? A witch. I have all this. You remember those You remember those?
No, I don't. I liked. I liked Chris Canyon a lot. It was really sad that he passed.
Yeah. He was so good in the ring too, man. The guy had some amazing moves in the ring. Yeah, what happened to him? I mean,
he was one of DDP's boys, you know.
Yeah. I mean, what happened to him? Like, it's tragic. What happened to him? Like, now, if he came out now, I don't think he would have problems.
No. I think he'd be a lot different. Like, things would be a lot different.
Because there's openly gay characters in WWE and AEW right now, and times have changed now. I think it would be fine coming out, but then it was a different locker room. I mean, Pat Patterson's openly gay. He passed away too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and it's sad. It's sad. This is what wrestling does, man. It's sad. Like a lot of guys we watch over years, they pass away at such a young age.
Yeah, and either by accident or overdose or, other things. I mean, we could talk a little bit about the major accident. Rest in peace, Owen Hart.
That was such an avoidable thing to do.
I watched the next day's Raw. Like I remember that,
Yeah.
where they did the bells and everybody
each
was.
wrestler, right? Each wrestler
Oh,
speak on.
when Jeff Jarrett talked on it and started crying, like that was pure emotion. And that's why I respected Jeff Jarrett at that time. But right after that, he held up Vince McMahon for a bunch of money with the IC
Yes.
belt on him.
He didn't
He
want to
had
lose it to China in the first place.
He had the IC belt, and then
Yeah.
they took the belt off of him, and
It took him like 20 years to make up for that.
I was pissed, man. Like, and we got TNA because of it. So there's that.
You know what? He was a Triple H of TNA.
Of course.
Always putting a belt on himself. Yeah, but with the Owen Hart stuff, that could have been so avoidable with that gimmick. I guarantee if Bret Hart was there, he would have said, no, he's not doing this.
Well, the Blue Blazer wouldn't have been a thing. They'd have still been the Hart Foundation.
Yeah, they treat him I know he joined the Nation, and he joined the Nation for a bit. I bet he wanted out. He wanted to join his family in WCW because the Bulldog and Neidhart were in WCW along with Brett. But yeah, I guarantee you, if Brett was there, he would have said, no, he's not doing this. He's not doing this. It was one of he was afraid of it. He was afraid of heights. What are you doing? Really?
Yeah, no. And did you watch the Vice
Yes.
documentary on it?
Apparently, it was a different guy than usual that did the harness and stuff.
The rigging, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like about the bargain basement rigging. So I was like, oh no. And they didn't use the right carabiner latch system, and yeah.
Why would he do? They wanted to get the same. They used to do the same guy with Sting. They used to use the same guy with Sting, but this time they went with different people.
Yeah.
Seriously, why? You didn't were they too cheap? They were making so much money at the time.
Yeah, I know. And then the fact that they kept the show going, and man, it's just.
Yeah, the show must go on.
It was not a good thing.
Each wrestler, I bet you, even though they had to pretend like nothing happened while their match was going on, I bet you deep down inside in their mind, it's hard to compete.
Oh, absolutely, man.
But they have to for their match, they have to get it out of their head. I mean, come on, you're asking something that's very nearly impossible to do.
Yeah.
It's seriously. And that's when wrestling is so dark. And WCW, Bret Hart, they let him cut a promo on that stuff, and he had went away and stuff. And that's kind of shattered the family a bit because of his wife. His wife wants nothing to do with WWE, and I don't blame her.
Absolutely. Oh no, I don't blame her either. They killed your husband, basically. I get it, and it's really weird because the family doesn't want to rock the boat because they actually have people currently wrestling in the company. So, yeah. Natalia.
They want him to be in the Hall of Fame, which he is. He should be a Hall of Famer, but it's really up to the wife.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think Owen Hart will be in the Hall of Fame.
No, he is, but his wife is not going to let him.
That'll be too much. It'll be just too much.
Yeah, the thing is, the Hall of Fame and me in the WWE is you know what? You're either in or not. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, it's too political.
Yeah.
In my opinion, to be a true Hall of Fame. But then again, if you look at the Baseball Hall of Fame, it's the same thing.
Yeah. They're talking about guys about steroids when they have guys like Ty Cobb in the Hall of Fame who's known as racist and an asshole. Worse. He did worse stuff than the guys doing drugs. I'm sorry.
Can we sidetrack for baseball for a hot second? I've got a hot take on that. Okay. Steroids is the sword, the double-edged blade that saved and killed baseball at the same time. In 1994, they had the strike. Nobody would watch. I quit playing Little League. I was like, baseball. Okay. So what brought people back to the game? 1998 home run chase.
McGuire Sosa.
What was that fueled with? Steroids. Okay. Major League Baseball turned a blind eye to it for years. Years. They knew all about it.
I agree
Like
with you.
the test, and this is going to go against me because I'm a Giants fan. So and it's messed up because I do defend Barry Bonds, and he is the home run king. I don't care what anybody says. Steroids prolonged his career. Okay. Yes, they made him bigger, made him stronger, but they made it to where he could play longer. Same thing with Roger Clemens. What they accomplished before and after they quote unquote juiced, their numbers were Hall of Fame enough.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds was in the 400 club.
They say you need like 10 years above average numbers, like above average number. That's what they say in baseball.
Oh, exactly.
Bonds had that.
Oh, I need to watch. I think I did watch the one on Balco. Funny story. My dad dated Anderson's mom. His trainer, Barry Bonds' trainer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, huh, interesting.
I mean,
but yeah, no. So, anyways, yeah. So steroids save baseball.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Look, I agree with you. I think Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. I think all guys. It was legal then. Why are you punishing people that did something that was legal?
Well, it's not. It is illegal. But the thing is, and that's why the federal government got involved. But the thing is that
I watched
baseball,
that. Did you watch that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Palmeiro, oh my God, Palmeiro, oh my God.
Good old Rafael Palmeiro. Oh, Mark McGuire, he shot himself in the foot too, and it was just like, dude, I get it, man, but you've been juicing since the 80s, bro. Like, I grew up in Northern California, so I'm an A's and Giants fan.
All he did was able to hit home runs. He didn't hit anything. He couldn't hit for average stuff like that.
No, he was a home run hitter. I mean, that was what he did. Him and Canseco. I mean, that's what they did. But Bonds, he hit for average. I mean,
Bonds is a 5-tool player, dude.
When his prime, nobody would pitch to him. Nobody. I just remember four up, stand up. It was just like, oh man, all right. But no, the 2002 World Series, Giants versus the Angels, it was like both teams tested positive. Oh yeah, Rafael Palmeiro's Viagra ads. That's not all he was using. But no, it's really sad, and it's because this, and it's really hypocritical too. And this will be the last thing I say about it. We'll go back to wrestling. The people who are responsible for putting people in the Hall of Fame are sports writers.
Yeah.
The very same sports writers who at the time were like, oh my God, this is so great. They're hitting home runs. It's going out of style. Okay. They don't like Barry Bonds because Barry Bonds was an asshole.
Yep.
He did not treat the press very well.
Yeah.
Because the press did not treat him very well. So it's like, it's really stupid. And I think what they should do is allow former players to have a say on who gets into the Hall of Fame. It's a shame. And that's why the Baseball Hall of Fame is messed up, in my opinion. And yes, it does have people like where amphetamines were allowed legal back in the day. So I mean, what's to say that those numbers weren't juiced too? What's to say that Babe Ruth didn't go get amphetamine shots before games?
The beer gave him powers to hit on one.
Oh, I'm just saying, dude. When he came in there all hungover and all that stuff, what are they going to do?
How was he able to hit like a couple bumps, high average of home runs?
Couple bumps of coke in the locker room. Get your ass out there and play. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There had to be something. You know,
Mento was.
We're talking about a game that played with a dirty baseball, a literal brown ball until 1920. Yeah. So pitching records before 1920 will never be surpassed.
No. I mean, like...
So it's like, dude, baseball's had eras. Like a curveball was illegal at one point in time. So like
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like
If
it's just
if people think they're gonna break like Cy Young's record of 5'11", you're dreaming because starters only go like 30 starts a year now. And if you like, if you think you're gonna break I think nobody's gonna break Pete Rose's hits record.
no,
Nobody.
nobody. And that's another person. Pete Rose, put him in there, man. Make it happen, man. I don't care. He gambled. Do you know how many people gambled back in the day? They're Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
John McGraw. He bet on his own team in the World Series.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, Boyd is actually big in wrestling because
Oh yeah, that's true
one of
too.
the upcoming Vice episodes, like the second half, is going to talk about the steroid trial.
Ooh,
And oh yeah,
superstar Billy Graham, brother.
yeah, I think Hogan was on that trial, right?
Oh, so was Ultimate Warrior, and so was
Bulldog.
Superstar Billy Graham.
Oh, Billy.
Superstar Billy Graham was one of the ones that
Didn't Bulldog
really
got fired because
put
of
the
Roy or
screws to
something?
him. Yes, I believe so. Well, that and he tried to hold up Vince McMahon for money.
Oh yeah, Warrior's an asshole in general. The guy's like, no, I know he's dead, but like this not beat around the bush. The guy was not liked.
No, not at all. He was a bit of a pariah.
Yeah.
Oh, Savage was a baseball player.
Yes, in the minor leagues, he was a catcher. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's true. But yeah, Roy's like look at Lex Luger. That guy that's definitely voided up.
Well, steroids and wrestling go together like bacon and eggs, man.
I do think Lex Luger's a Hall of Famer, but I don't know, a lot of people. His WCW stuff was better than his WWE stuff. I'll say that.
I don't know. Oh.
Because he was a champion in WCW before he went to WWE and after.
I just, man, Lex Luger. He's not like on the same level as like Sid Vicious for me.
Sid Vicious, oh. You know what? You know what immediately leaves sometimes? Let's go play softball.
There you go. Oh, or when Sid Vicious broke his leg.
Oh. Oh my God.
Oh, mama, that hurt.
I don't know why. Like, we went on the top rope.
Cause I think they were trying to get him to do it because they thought it would be cool, and he didn't want to do it.
Like, what?
And then he
You
went to
should
do
know
that
it.
leg
You should know
kick
it's not
and
a
just
specialty.
snap. Oh God.
Oh. Okay, look, it was great. It was a great moment because Yokozuna was like,
Oh, he was like 500 pounds or something like
Yeah.
that.
but the SummerSlam match, I don't know why he was celebrating. He didn't win the title. He celebrated like he won the title.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you won my title. You don't win the title.
And he shows up at the Mall of America a couple weeks later.
Yeah. So that was a big moment. That was a big moment for WWE.
Monday Nitro. Well, that's because he was the he was the top dog kind of at the time. The Lex Express.
Bischoff didn't want him back. Because Bischoff said he's like he was kind of arrogant and stuff. But his best friend was Sting. Yeah. His best friend is Sting, right? And Sting convinced Bischoff to give him a chance. And Luger now he suffered a lot the last few years. Now I think he's in a wheelchair, but
Oh yeah, I know. His body's been destroyed.
yeah, he's a boring and Christian, and he's actually kind of good. He's kind of a good follow on Twitter.
I'll have to give it a thought. Does he talk wrestling or?
He'll talk wrestling, but also talk about just random stuff too. He won't get political, but like stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And you got, what do you think?
not bad.
What do you think of the Giants? Like,
Well,
He was
it's a
athletic.
big show.
he was athletic in WCW. He's very good for his size. He's very athletic back in WCW days.
Oh, he's a former basketball player, I think.
Yeah, he was able to do drop kick at his height. Then he got bigger and bigger.
He got the surgery. He had the same thing Andre the Giant had, I think, right?
Yeah. Yes, but he's lucky though because I don't think
Well, he
got
got the
fate.
well. The surgery wasn't around when he was
Oh, okay.
Or I think his condition was too far gone by the time the surgery was
Andre.
available for Andre. But
Yeah, because Big Show for his age, even though he's age, he doesn't wrestle much. He looks good for his shape and for his age now.
I know he's on AEW, right?
Yes, he's an AEWS. Yeah, and wait, I don't think he had theme music in WCW. Did he have theme music in WCW?
I don't remember if he did.
Oh, maybe he did. I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know. If you go back and watch it now, it's probably like a network dubbed thing.
He had NWO music. He had NWO music. I remember that because he was in NWO twice in WCW. Yeah. So so like, what were your favorite factions? Oh, you said there's so many matches, like factions. You played the games.
Oh hell yeah! SmackDown 1 and 2 for Sony PlayStation.
Oh, know your role in the first one, yeah.
Those were my favorite video games. Like period. I did get. I had a GameCube and I got WrestleMania 18, but that game wasn't that good. Like there wasn't any story mode to it or anything like that, so I didn't like it very much. Yeah, and then after that, it was later on. Like I like 2K14.
I played 64, right? Nintendo 64. I played Sony too, also those games. So I played like WCW vs. NWO Revenge, WrestleMania 2000. A little bit of No Mercy. No Mercy is an amazing game. If you ever played it, it's an amazing game. I did play all the SmackDown games, and then SmackDown vs. Raws, and then, well, I didn't play last year because they didn't have one last year because 2K20 was shit.
I don't like the 2K games at all. They don't have any kind of story mode. It's all like fantasy booking, wrestling, and I'm just like, no. I want story mode. I want backstage segments.
I'm hoping 2K22 is. I'm hoping 2K22 they kept promise to everybody that they're really changing it around. But I don't know when the release date is because there is like no scheduled release date because they released a lot of wrestlers in the past 3 or 4 months, so they probably screwed up their plans.
The game is not going to have very many people on it.
Yeah, they released like 80 to 90, not just wrestlers, but like staff, like employees overall. Like, what's the roster going to be?
Yeah, right. Build a copy guy.
Yeah. What else is there? So what do you think So yeah, you think so? I think I agree with you about the downfall of WCW. I think it's the politics of WCW is with the downfall.
Pretty much. Politics and money. They ran out of money. Same thing with
Turner sold it to a company that had no intentions of keeping it.
Yeah.
They didn't want it.
What were your thoughts on ECW?
I watched it from time to time. I liked it. I liked it a bit. I like RVD because I thought he was pretty awesome. RVD. Yeah.
Boom. RVD.
Yeah. Like RVD was awesome. Like the ECW, NWD. Like no matter where he goes. Dudleys.
Oh yeah. The Dudleys were cool.
Yeah. I like some good talent like Ravens in ECW who was good. Tommy Dreamer, Lance Storm, who's Mike Awesome was very good. Like Mike Awesome could have been a bigger star on WWE or WCW, but unfortunately, he passed away and they didn't build anything. They kind of ruined him in WCW with the 70s gimmick. I don't know, but I think Mike Awesome. He's related to Hulk Hogan, and or he's part of Hulk Hogan's real life family or Boya family in some capacity. I forget what it was, but I thought he had potential to be a bigger star than he was perceived because he was big. He was athletic too. The guy could do some flips and stuff.
Yeah.
And who else? Taz was amazing. Unfortunately, Taz, his height limited him in WWE, so he couldn't get very far because of that. Even
they had him on commentary mostly.
Yeah. There's some like a lot of the guys in ECW, Vince wouldn't push. A lot of guys in WCW, he wouldn't push either, unless they're past WWE guys like Hogan, Nash, and Hall. Those guys when they came back. Yeah, like look at this. like DDP, like Booker T kind of. Okay, Booker T push. There's one exception. Booker T push.
Booker
But
T
from
was
all
cool.
From all the guys from the invasion angle, Booker T was the most successful one that he pushed.
Yeah.
But if Bosch on DDP, people knew who DDP was. They could have done a lot more with DDP. But the problem with the invasion angle, they didn't get all the top guys. They didn't get basically the NWO, Hogan, Nash, and Hall. But Hogan didn't have a contract with WCW at the time because he was fired from from Bash on the Beach. Remember after the incident of Jeff Jarrett to lay down
The infamous Vince Russo promo where he told
So
kiss my ass.
Unless he signed it, technically he wasn't staying at home because he didn't have a contract with them, WCW, or at that time WCW was owned by WWE, but they still had the contracts with Sting, Flair, Steiner, all those guys, some of the top stars. They just told him to stay home. We'll pay you to stay at home. And I'm like, why would he do that? Why would he do that? Those are your top guys. Like, I know Vince McMahon has a tendency to bring in lower end WCW guys in the past to build them to stars. Like, for example, Triple H, Mick Foley, Steve Austin. But in the invasion angle, you can't do that. You have to bring in your top stars. Like, I understand not the NWO, but bring in somebody. Like, somebody one of your top stars. Like, Sting, you cannot make as a heel. Like, Sting doesn't work as a heel. So in the invasion angle, he wouldn't work in the invasion angle because if that's the case, the WCW would have to be faces because Sting was a terrible heel. They tried in WCW in late '99. Remember returning red and yellow Hogan. They tried to turn him heel. It didn't work. Sting was never a good heel. Like one of the worst heels ever. But I think it could work with Flair, maybe. Work with Flair. I don't know about Nash and Hall because the WCW guys really trashed Nash and Hall because they're like NWO guys, really. But later in the year, later in 2002, they got the NWO. See, that failed in WWE because Hogan, even when he comes back, even if it was NWO, he would never get booed. And the biggest mistake was having WrestleMania in Toronto. It was a great WrestleMania, Hogan and The Rock. But if they thought Hogan was going to get booed in Toronto, then they didn't do any homework because Hogan's beloved in Toronto. Like Toronto loves Hogan, and they had no choice to turn him face. And that's not just Toronto. Nobody was going to boo Hogan when it comes to even his NWO colors.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but Hall ruined it.
Mm-hmm.
Hall fell off the wagon hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of how that one ended up.
After when Hogan and Hall left basically the NWO, and Nash tried to carry it. He suffered a major injury. You saw that match, right? When he got
Nash really hurt himself. Mm-hmm.
And they tried to keep the NWO going with Shawn Michaels joining it. Big Show back in the NWO for this time in WWE. They had X-Pac, a former NWO guy. Booker T, they kicked Booker T out. They tried to keep it going, but the NWO was like, what is this NWO? Seriously, the NWO and WCW was the group that's taking over. They're like the main focus of the WCW. And WWE, especially after Hogan and Hall, like they're afterthoughts, even though they're some of the top stars in the company.
Yeah, I mean, no, exactly. They don't. It didn't translate at all.
No, I was excited. Like, look, when Vince McMahon turned his chair around and said NWO, he's gonna kill his own company with poison. I was excited, but we're getting NWO. Then I'm like, oh no, it's gonna fail. It was just, especially with Hogan, it was not gonna work with Hogan because Hogan. Look, in WCW, as Hollywood, Hogan was great as a heel. WWE, they tried it for like a month. I mean, The Rock was getting booed in a WrestleMania match. People didn't want to see The Rock win.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting. And then he went red and back to the old colors, and then had the Shawn Michaels match.
You remember that?
Where Shawn Michaels flopped around like a fish for Hogan. Yeah. Hogan was a piece of crap, man. Like,
yeah.
He was such a politician that he basically ruined a lot of stuff.
Hogan was like, yeah, but Shawn Michaels was like that too.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Both are like the Click. The Click. Hogan.
Yeah, the Click ruined a lot of careers, man.
Yeah, like especially Shawn Michaels. Like Shawn Michaels was the worst.
Oh yeah, he would go cry to Vince McMahon, and they'd get fired.
Yeah, like seriously, yeah. Like, I mean, I think I don't think Nash was as bad like, in the clique, because a lot of people that they don't like Shawn, they tend to like Kevin Nash though in some way. But like a lot of people hated Shawn Michaels, but I think now with Shawn these days, I think a lot of people turn a new light on Shawn, seeing a different Shawn. Like he got his act together because he really after WrestleMania when he got his back hurt and he had to leave, drop the title. He really was in a bad place after that. Then he got his act together, became a borderline Christian, and some people probably thought it was fake. You know, the borderline against him. I think it's legit. He seems better, and he seems people respect him more. It seems like the guys he did wrong, like Bret Hart. I think Bret Hart and Shawn are cool now.
Yeah, they made up, from what I understand.
Yeah, I think Shawn's legit. I don't think he's faking anymore, and good for Shawn. He seems in a better place. He seems in a better place. I don't know why he returned for one more match in that Saudi Arabia show. Like seriously, should not have happened. And I feel bad for Yokozuna, man. He's just a great guy too, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's another one.
He was a great guy that everybody loved. Bret Hart. Bret Hart talks about him all the time. You know what? For a guy in his early days, he couldn't go long, but for spurts, he was better than Goldberg. Because he could, and he was so well liked. Unfortunately, food was this excessive eating. Excessive eating was his kryptonite, and that's eventually killed him. Especially later, the middle of when he became tag team with Owen Hart. Remember with Jim Cornette?
Oh,
he
he's
couldn't
huge.
do stuff. That's why they put him in tag team. Owen Hart would do the heavy lifting. If you have the network, watch Icons on Yokozuna. Like this guy, I mean, he comes from the family, like the Samoan family. You know, The Rock, Roman Reigns. You know, Yokozuna.
The Iakia family or whatever.
Yeah. And such a lovable guy. Sad to see him. Sad to see him back. Sad to see his life tragedy, and because of his addiction to food. I mean, a lot of people suffer from that. And I'm glad he's in the Hall of Fame. He is a Hall of Fame for his. Yeah. And I love the wrestling back then. What else is there? The good wrestlers back then. I don't see. They are not with us today. Let's see. Kurt Hennig.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect. One second, man.
Okay. So I'll wait. Then we'll probably end it soon. All right. You know, Ron, I don't know if there's one person who liked him as a stalker, my friend.
All right, sorry about that. Nephews came in. I had to shoo him out.
Okay. Yeah, I did lose light because it got a little bit darker outside. Sorry. But I'm going to end this soon. But like we were talking about Mr. Perfect. Well, ended after Mr. Perfect. So yeah, he should have won a title at least for like some bit. But
yeah, I think he was like IC quality.
Yeah. Great in-ring worker. Of his vignettes in WWE, not WCW. He was Kurt Hennig in WCW. But his vignettes were where he had to like every like a football, basketball, he had to make a perfect shot, perfect throw. I wonder how many takes it took to do those vignettes, because obviously like it must have taken a lot.
Oh, I'd imagine so.
Unfortunately, he suffered back injury that kind of limited his wrestling career, especially WWE. And but he was such a good in-ring worker. People loved him too. He was a ribber. He was a big prankster.
Oh yeah, that, and like he went kind of like the same way Brian Pillman did.
Yeah. Brian Pillman. Sad. This guy was so good in the ring, but his personal life was.
Oh, yeah. You had Road Warrior Hawk.
Yeah, I mean North Korea, collision North Korea. God. I just remembered ending Ric Flair running back in Japan, kissing the gravel on the airport.
Hey, I don't blame him, man.
It's like really. Curse Axel? Yes, Curse Axel was his son, but he's not in WWE anymore, so yeah. That's his legit son. But yeah, I think we'll end it here. Like, so You're clearly a WWE guy. So you're a WWE guy. So, final thoughts.
Well, WWE won.
Yes, they did.
Enough said. I liked the Hardy Boys. I had a crush on Trish Stratus.
You're not the only one, man. A lot of people.
Love me some Trish Stratus a lot. And yeah, that's about all I can say about that. It was fun. It was memories of high school playing football and talking wrestling while standing in line for warm-ups. So it was fun. I enjoyed it.
So anybody, you obviously saw people wearing WWE shirts or WCW.
Oh yeah, mostly Austin 316 shirts were big in high school. NWO shirts, of course.
I bet you if somebody had a DX shirt that says "suck it on," they probably get sent home or something.
I don't remember a lot of DX shirts, but I do remember a lot of crotch chops. So that was the thing. No, it was good times. I look back on it fondly, especially when I watch the documentaries they have on the network that kind of talk about it.
I'll say this. Despite how bad WWE has been now, like it's not. I watched it, but still, it's not very good. The stuff back in the documentaries, WWE does a superb job at that stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I got this one right here. It's one of the best ones. The rise and fall of ECW.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
And then there's an unauthorized one on YouTube that's pretty good too. That's a 2-hour one.
So I have a lot of DVDs too somewhere in my bucket, but I don't know. For me, I was a WCW guy because I did love the Wolfpack. I did like Kevin Nash. What I like about Kevin Nash, when he was Diesel, they didn't let him be Kevin Nash. They just wanted to be like this boring, tough guy, right? Like when he was Kevin Nash in WCW, whereas Wolfpack or NWO, or when he was on a sing or he's not in any faction, they let him show his character more because he's not just a big tough guy. He had charisma, he had chops and stuff. He could cut a good promo. He was funny, he was charming. That's what I liked about him. Like, you know that in WWE, right? The difference between those two.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, he was Shawn Michaels' bodyguard.
Yeah. Like literally.
He wasn't anything in WWE. Yeah. And he was the champion, so it was like, Razor Ramon was better as far as I was concerned.
They didn't let Kevin Nash be himself in WWE.
Yeah. No, it's true.
WCW did. Yeah, so I was a WCW guy. They lost. WWE is won. I like AEW now. It kind of reminds me of old wrestling. It's better wrestling, better story. WWE. I know Vince McMahon here. If Vince McMahon, you're not listening to this, but if you are, and you say AEW is not competition, come back to me in like 5 months, and you'll see it's competition.
Especially since they just rapidly downsized over there at WWE.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if they got CM Punk, and Daniel Bryan, okay. You gotta take it seriously, Vince McMahon. I know you think yes, you won. You beat WCW. Okay, good for you. But WCW almost did one thing. They almost drove you out of business.
Yeah.
And that was Ted Turner's goal, though, because Ted Turner hated Vince McMahon. They had a personal vendetta. That's what they wanted. He wanted to drive him out of business.
It's true.
And with that, you can follow Brian.
My channel, Brian Master of None. My Twitter handle is right here, Master of None 67. Everywhere else is Brian Master of None on Instagram. I talk a lot of Star Trek, so if that's your interest, come on down. We'll have some stuff to talk about, especially since Lower Decks is out, and that's going good. So, yeah.
Yeah. So to finish this off, I'm doing a SummerSlam stream tomorrow, preview stream. Maybe an hour long. If anybody wants to join me, and I don't care, but it's a bad stream, so anybody's allowed to join me. It's like I usually talk about 45 minutes an hour about pay-per-view streams. So that's a SummerSlam stream, and then Friday I talk about Takeover, and because that's the Sunday after SummerSlam. Yeah, I think I don't know. It's gonna be in the afternoon because I'm kind of busy tomorrow night. I'm joining a friend's show, so that's why. Okay. And with that, I leave you with a few things. Thank you for joining me.
Okay, man.
I like that picture though.
That is pretty
okay,
good.
That's an overlay. I want for the people here, thank you.
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
What? Oh,
Like, comment, subscribe, and also tell your friends.
Too sweet! Sweet! Too sweet! Too sweet!
I can't stop laughing at the beer getting thrown at Scott's face. I've had back then, that was so common.
true.
That's what made wrestling great. And before I exit, one last thing for the people listening: don't take this personal, but suck it.
And if you're not down with that, then we've just got 2 words for you. Suck it.
Bye.